Hey, good morning, everyone. How's it going today? Coach Alvarez here. Another episode, Coffee with Coach. Up early, trying to make some moves, make some things happen. Hope you are too. Hope your mind's in the right place. Woke up on the right side of the bed this morning. If you didn't, then we're going to try to help put that mind in the right place. So yesterday I was talking about wasted talent, right? Wasted talent, having potential and all these gifts, and not really using them. And then today I want to share something with you guys. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everyone hopping on. Miss Vincenza, Miss Sarah. Something I heard in jiu-jitsu when I was a blue belt, I don't know, it was 2002, something like that, 2003. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And I would hear that phrase because my coach, my instructor would always say that. I didn't really know what that meant. I really didn't really pay attention to it. At that time, I was just super excited to be learning jiu-jitsu from I think he's a brown belt at the time, and Carlos Machado's in the area. I had just moved here, and I came from a place where there was no jiu-jitsu, okay? And we had to learn jiu-jitsu off VHS tapes and grappling magazines, and they would have pictures of different positions and moves, and you got to kind of piece it together and figure it out on your own, and that kind of thing. And so we got tough, but I would say I really wasn't all that technical. I had wrestled before. I learned some jiu-jitsu where I'm from, but it was from like a taekwondo black belt that was learning jiu-jitsu that was a blue belt. And he would go to California and fly there and pick up some techniques, come back, teach them. But then the training and the classes were really sporadic. So it was okay. It got me started, but it really wasn't like what it was like when I moved to Texas. It was like, Carlos Machado was like the master. He's like the godfather in Texas of jiu-jitsu. And then I had training under one of his students. So when my instructor was, he always used affirmations or positive quotes on the board. I know I talked about this before. And like I said, I really wasn't paying attention to that stuff because I just wanted to train. I was like really excited that I'm learning like real jiu-jitsu and I'm getting technical, and I have someone here that has all this knowledge, and I wanted to just take as much of it in as I could. So I really wasn't paying attention to too many other things, like the messages, right? The positive stuff. Until one day it finally hit me and I started paying attention to it. And I've been following, positive affirmations and positive mindset kind of stuff ever since. So it's many, many years now. But like I said, he would always use, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. And then finally, it just dawned on me like, yeah, man, like he could give me advice on techniques or other things in life. But if my mind wasn't ready to take that advice, I really wasn't going to pay attention to it. I was only going to pay attention to it when I needed it, when I was ready to absorb that information. It's like the phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink kind of thing. Like how many times, I think everyone is guilty of this at some point or another, or you trying to explain to your kids or a family member or a friend or something, trying to give them advice on something that you've been there, done that, and you're trying to like, hey, don't go there because this is going to happen, so let's try to avoid these pitfalls and these mistakes, and they don't listen and they do it anyways, and then they come back to you and they want the advice. And it's like one time I got this scar on my thumb. My dad told me when I was a kid, hey, don't play with that knife. It's sharp. You're going to get cut. Turned his back. What'd I do? I went and played with the knife. What happened? I cut my thumb. Had to rush me to the ER. I got stitches. I seriously got like a scar that will never go away. That's because my thumb is indented. It's kind of the same scenario, right? Like, I should have listened. Why didn't I listen? Like, hey, don't play with that. It's sharp. You're going to cut yourself. And that's exactly what I did. So in life, that's what we do a lot of the times, right? Like we have people that give us advice, and we just don't listen for whatever reason. We're just being hard-headed, and when we make those mistakes, then we cry about it and get down about it and whatever else. And now we go to those individuals and like, hey, how do I fix this? Like, how do I do whatever? So I'll put it in like jiu-jitsu perspective. Like, I'm always talking about asking questions. Now that was a good thing for me when I was a blue belt coming from Michigan and not having good training like I was accustomed to now when I moved here. I was always asking questions, hands raised every day, because my instructor would say, all right, you show the technique, and then he'd be like, anyone got questions? And I'm like, boom, yeah, I got a question. Like every day. Like we really couldn't get to the drilling portion of it because I always had a question. Or after class, I got tapped or I got passed or I got mounted or whatever the case, got swept. I'd always ask questions. He'd always ask after class, anyone got any questions? Anyone have any problems? Boom, hand raised. Like, yeah, so-and-so did this to me today. Like, how do you stop that? Oh, okay, cool. Let me show you. Boom, boom, boom. And then, like, class would go from this time to this time because, I was always asking questions. And then one of my main training partners I still train with today, he would see I was getting the answers because he was training there before me. And he was like, hey, well, if he does that, well, how do you stop that? And then he'd show him the answer. Then I'd be like, well, wait, what if he does that then how do I stop that? And then it was just like a never ending, like that's just the way it was when I was coming up. So when I have students, and I'm in this instructor teaching coaching part now, and when I ask students, do you have any questions? And no one has questions, it blows my mind. Like it really, really trips me out sometimes. I come home sometimes and I'm like, man, why isn't anyone asking any questions, man? Like, and I tell all my students, like I don't know how many of you got your guard passed. I don't know how many of you got tapped today. You got swept. You got whatever. You look frustrated. No questions? Like, how are you not asking questions? But the student isn't ready, so the teacher's not going to appear. I'm right in front of them with all the answers. Like, all you got to do is ask me, and I fix that problem for you. But you must like that frustration. You must like being submitted by that same arm bar like 5 times or whatever the case may be. And you go home and you come back to class the next day and the same thing happens. And it's like really hard because when I try to give, even when there's times where I've like seen students like go through some tough things on the mat and I go out of my way to show, hey, can you mind if I show you this? I got a little recommendation, suggestion when you're in this position to do this and to do that. They kind of go like this, like, all right, cool. But it's not really registering yet because they're not asking for it. I'm giving them the information without them asking for it. And it becomes frustrating, but that's the way life is. So how do you kind of battle that? You become self-aware. When I was made aware that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear thing, when I was understood that, I was really like, wow, man, I need to take as much advice as possible. Someone's got some advice to share. They're trying to help me. I probably shouldn't just shrug that off. I need to take that. And it's been a huge, huge help throughout all these years since I've learned that phrase on the mat. And I still make mistakes. I still, hear things and don't use them, don't act on them or whatever. But I'm way better at it than I used to be. I implement things. I take action. I try to put things in place right away. Because if you're trying to tell me, hey, don't go there because there's something waiting for you on the other side that isn't good, well, I don't want to go there. I don't want to deal with the same troubles that you dealt with. Like, I want that help. I want that information. Please give it to me. I'm going to take it. I'm going to listen. We can put that, like I said, we can put it on the mats, like jiu-jitsu perspective. We can put it in life. Like one of my family members one time, I was like, hey, what are your goals? What are you trying to do? He's a young individual. And he's like, oh, man, I got like 5 years before I got to figure out what I got to do. And I'm like, no, you don't. We have no idea how long we're going to be here. To think and make a mistake that you might have 5 years left before you have to start like hunkering down and like harnessing your craft, whatever it is, or, having a goal and going after it. Why would you wait 5 years when you can do that today? You can do that right now. Why are you waiting? But the mindset is they're around other friends and other people. They're partying. It's YOLO, you only live once kind of thing. So let's have all the fun now, and then we'll deal with life and getting and it hurts because it's like, man, you don't want to see, like, you love that individual, like you care about them, and you're like, man, I don't want to see you waste precious time. But they have to. The sad thing about it is they have to because the student isn't ready, man. The teacher is not going to. It's just the student isn't ready. So they're going to go make those mistakes. And when you see them make the mistakes, you're just like, oh man, like, why don't you just listen? Just listen. And it's tough, put it into, and that individual is still doing the YOLO thing. They're not really harnessing on a goal and focus on a goal and hunkering down. They're still out there playing games, right? So best of luck to them. Put it in health perspective. I don't know how many times I talk to people about their health, what they eat, blah, blah. It goes in one ear and out the other. People love their Cokes. They love their fries, their fast food, whatever, until the doctor says, hey, you need to change your eating habits or else you probably won't live here very, much longer, or you're going to have to take this medication. You're going to have to do this and do that and whatever. And it's like, man, why are you doing that to yourself? Why are you hurting yourself? Okay. You can hurt yourself by not taking the advice that you're supposed to take as far as certain other things in life. And then you can do that with your health as well. Why don't you just eat healthy? Why don't you just take care of yourself? But people just refuse to fight. I mean, they just want to fight that until it's almost too late. Then all of a sudden they want to make this dramatic shift and dramatic change. And that's good because it's, better late than never, right? But why wouldn't you just do it sooner than that? If someone's trying to give you the advice and you're supposed to be doing that. Then let's talk about finances, right? I was talking about the other day, like Jocko Podcaster talking about the dude Echo Charles. He was like, his mom told him about credit, like you should have good credit, but never really explained to him like what credit is and how it does this and that for you. And he goes into this whole spill like he didn't really appreciate good credit until he wanted to go buy something and he got denied because his credit sucked, or he had no credit. You had two options. One, you just totally screwed your credit up and you didn't pay off things like you were supposed to, or you only carry cash, those kind of people, and you don't want a credit card because you've been told like that's the devil and like you shouldn't get it because it'll get you in trouble. Only get you in trouble if you have no discipline. But you can't buy anything, house, car, this, that, whatever, if you have no credit. So establish credit. But you won't do that until you need something and then you're denied and you got to walk out of the store with the thing that you wanted. And now you got to go do what? You got to go establish credit when someone's been telling you all this time to establish credit, or make a savings, put money away, do this and do that with your money, and you didn't do it. And now when you want to buy something, you have no money. You're broke, I don't know. Luckily for me, I don't know why, I just did. I listened to my dad when I was a kid. That student was definitely ready for that teacher when I was 18, and it's paid big dividends as far as my finances go and everything like that. So, it's paid off a lot. But I just picked up some new books, like The Student is Ready. I got The Compound Effect. I got this other Jocko book. I got another one here. I think I got 4 books delivered yesterday. Just trying to learn, trying to get better, trying to just feed my mind with more stuff. Like The Student is Ready. Now I'm definitely, like everyone else, make mistakes. Probably give me some information that probably didn't really absorb it and take it all the way. But it's not from a lack of trying. There's so much information. I hear people say all the time, like, oh man, I'm bored. Like, quarantine thing, I'm bored, man. How can you be bored when there's so many things to learn and get better at and improve? Like, I don't understand. So anyways, hopefully that helps. It definitely helped me as a blue belt once I understood what that meant. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. It's a great phrase. I use it all the time in class. Like I said, it's frustrating sometimes when you really want to help someone and you want to see them do better and they're just not ready yet. And then I'll be there for them when they are ready, or, if that's you, man, do it now. Like, open your mind up, take the advice, and don't be the same person as you were yesterday. All right. So good stuff today, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. You guys have a great day. Thank you.